Well, knucklehead fuckers. That's my new, if I was a pirate, I would say, knucklehead fuckers, ahoy! And that would be our battle cry, like Avengers Assemble. Welcome to Gabbin' Games for, I don't fucking know, 127 says Windows. So January 27th, 2022. It's good to see everybody. Welcome to the Gabbin' and the Games. I got to let you know, right before this show started, I was digging around in my toilet, trying to get one of the kids dropped out of it. And, well, this happened. Check it out. I ate poo. It's just Jaffe, old so-and-sos. Good to see you, fellas. I think that's still funny. I think poo is still funny. I think fart jokes are funny. I like it. I like it all. A lot of news to talk about today. We got to get some more people on the wheel. Tomorrow we're giving away this fine trade paperback. Fallen Gods, God of War. My God of War, the best God of War. No beard on this motherfucker. Collecting issues 1 through 4 of the Fallen Gods storyline. If you can solve the trivia... Did we disconnect? Are we still going? Except... except the Forgotten Dumpling. We have a God of War named the Forgotten Dumpling. I don't have his actual name. I don't have his address. I don't have his picture. I have nothing to put him up on God of War or put him up and send him his gift. So if you're watching Forgotten Dumpling, hit me up in the Discord or hit me up on Twitter. Come on now, fellas. Come on now. You know, I'll get you situated. So we're going to talk today about the Horizon. You know, it's not a scandal. It's not a big deal. Not, you know, it's just stupid fanboy bullshit. It's just so dumb. And then I find out that Naughty Dog and Sony Santa Monica and all these guys kind of came out blasting this guy. I will talk about it in a little bit, but it's amazing to me how stupid some fucking fans are, or fanboys of something else are. From Software is owned by Tencent? I don't think so. I don't think so. Sony should either target EA or Time Splitter Chimp, we've talked that one to death. We've talked Activision to death. There's a teeny tiny little Activision story today, but we're not going to spend much time on these stupid motherfuckers. Solid Snake, don't worry. You have come to the right place to get educated. This is like a college. I could open a college. And you could come to it. Like Trump. What was that thing called? Trump University. I'm so wise. What a clever name for a college. Listen to this. See this new mod for God of War? It's totally true. Oh, by the way, fuck you, Dustin, if you're watching, you all so-and-so. You see what that guy did? You see what that traitor did? Put up a video about me telling about how Colin said he was more good-looking than I was. Can you believe that? Anyway, it's pathetic I have to say this, but of course I'm just kidding with those guys. But some people, you know... And I don't even know if that's dumb. Sometimes you would say something like, you know, some people take it serious. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of people are just... And look, I consider myself a proud neurodivergent fella. Some people literally just take things at face value. That doesn't mean they're dumb. That just kind of means that's how they see the world. Danny Sullivan wants us all to know the Quartering is interviewing Frosk. It's staggering. Wait a minute. Why is that not coming up? It's staggering how little I care about that. Okay, I need to figure out really quickly. Speaking of telling Dustin to go fuck off, now it's kind of like I want people to get, credit for their chats. There it is. That's because it's over there, you all so-and-so. The Quarter is interviewing Frosk. Yeah, I don't care. I'm going to start bringing back the interviews pretty soon, but I just, what's there to say? What's there to fucking say about that? I mean, I already did a whole video on it. What are you going to do? But what I was going to tell you, though, is we're going to kick the show off today talking about, I think, one of the best goddamn mods for God of War. PC, obviously, because you can't get mods anywhere else, that I have seen. If you haven't seen this, this is pretty goddamn great, fellas. This is Mod Makes Kratos the God of Dad Jokes. I'm going to play this for you. It's only like 40 seconds long, but unlike all these other really interesting visual mods and changing field of view and all kinds of things, this motherfucker went in and literally changed the dialogue for Kratos. For the Kratos. Let's give it a watch, shall we? It's 49 seconds. You can fucking do me the honor. Here we go. Let's make it big, baby. Let's make it big. Just like Wham. Wasn't there an album from Wham called Make It Big? Does it really matter? Does it really matter? Come on the left and the right need to talk. Danny Sullivan, I had no problem talking to Frosk. I probably agree with her more than, certainly more than the quartering does. But what am I gonna, what's there to say? You know what her position is. You know what my position is. My new philosophy for the interviews, it's got to be somebody who's got something interesting to tell us. Just to go on there and regurgitate the same goddamn shit that we've already heard them say. I don't give a fuck. Here we go. This is God of War dad joke mod. It's pretty goddamn good. Listen to this fucking thing.
There it is.
Hold. What are you doing? Now his guard is up. Only fire. Only fire. When I tell you to fire.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I am Dad.
Come on now. Come on now. There's one more coming.
I also need lamb's cress. Do you mind? It's a white petal flower in my garden. Just a handful.
Fine. Lamb's cress. The fucking God of War.
You goddamn right. Come on now. Come on now. Fuck you, Eric Linden. Let me tell you something, Eric Linden. Out of all the people who watch this stream, you've got to be the most miserable son of a bitch I've ever met. But you're my pal. I love you. Let's go to the sock hop together anyway. There you go. That is what I love about this. What I adore about this, though, is fuck you all. Fuck you all. Fuck you all. The idea that that's not funny, where he basically says, hi, sorry, I'm Dad. Come on now. Well, it's still a mod, Spaz. Yeah, I'm not saying the lines weren't recorded, but the fact that you can now actually go into the game and play them, it's, come on. Throw the guy a bone. Throw the guy a goddamn bone. I'm with you, Jarvy's good people. Jarvie of the Rocky Mountain Rocks. Jaffe, please tell me why I lost my sleep for this stream. Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows what's wrong with you, Addy Pie? Are you lying in your bed watching this on your phone? Who's lying in their bed right now watching this on their goddamn telephone? Come on. I mean, do you touch yourself while you watch it? Because maybe the answer there... I mean, don't look. Apparently, according to Dustin's poll that he put out, and let's check in on the poll. Dustin put a poll about who is more attractive, me or Colin Moriarty. Let's check into that, shall we? Let's go to Dustin's little poll. And then we were going to talk about some actual game news, fellas. Check my tweets. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Dustin's in the house. Look at that. Check your tweets, Jaffe. Oh, God. Here we go. Here we go. What do we got? What do we got from old Dusty Dustin? Let's see. I'm looking for it. Hang on. Okay, Dustin says, listen, Aldi Santa? I don't know who that is. What exactly do you think I do? I barely had anything to do with that game. Kind of like how you barely had anything to do with God of War 2018. The good one. Here's the thought, Dustin. Here's the thought, cocksucker. Let me explain something to you, okay? I say this, and I have great affection for Colin Moriarty, okay? Great affection for Colin Moriarty. But let's be clear. If you don't know the clock is ticking, how many days left until you get Greg Millard? That's all I'm saying. Day without a Dustin. Hashtag day without a Dustin. That's what's going to be happening soon. So you can come at me and mock me, but the fact of the matter is, baby, you're going to be talking about Oreoation and chicken wings and all this shit, and Colin will be just a little speck of bearded dust in your fucking rear view mirror. Stand down, bitch. Oh, that's fun. Anyway, the point is, good to see you, Dustin. But then you can always just come and help me. I would love that. But really, no, I would never poach people. But Dustin's like, you think I'm poachable, you fuck? Wow, I was going to show you something on Twitter. Fuck it. Let's move on. All right, good to see you, Dustin. What happened between Moriarty and Greg Miller? Fuck you. I'm not going to tell you that story. You guys, come on now, you all so-and-sos. As for God of War 2018 being the good one, oh my God, you have no idea how little I care. I am so happy. I did an interview today with Retro Gamer magazine, a magazine out of the UK, and we talked about the formula, and I was telling the guy that I was playing right now a lot of Dante's Inferno, which I'm enjoying very, very much. And I loved God of War 2018, but it's not my kind of game, right? So I wouldn't have been able to, nor would I have ever wanted to make God of War 2018. But I will tell you that playing Dante's Inferno really does bring me back to why I loved that formula back then in God of War and now in Dante's Inferno. I absolutely think it's a delight. It's fucking good, man. I am so tired of seeing this tweet in my feed, says No Sleep. What tweet? Who are you talking to? It's okay. Kind of funny is nothing without Colin. I mean, kind of. Let's just put it this way. And I like Greg Miller, but Kind of Funny is it's a different product without Colin. And whether that's good or bad, your mileage may vary, but I can certainly agree that it is a very different piece of content that goes out into the world without Colin as part of it. And whether or not, I mean, Colin's never coming back to that show. Why would he? But I certainly think Kind of Funny could benefit from having a bit more of an acidic, or is it acerbic, or is it both, voice on their panel. Because I think they're too goddamn agreeable. And I think they need somebody to kind of shake up. They should get that Frosk lady from G4. That'd be kind of interesting. Thanks for the consecutive Gavin Games, Jaffe. It's been a while since we've had daily shows. We're doing them daily for the time being, man. Monday through Friday at 5. Yeah, Tony Barnes says Dante's Inferno is horribly underrated and the dev team were done dirt. It's solid and a sequel would have been great. Yeah, and when I was talking to this interviewer, he was like, oh yeah, I fucking love Dante's Inferno. And he was like talking about wanting a sequel, and he was kind of hinting around the fact that it was better than God of War, and I was just like, yeah. I mean, God of War came out in 2005. Dante's came out in 2010. Now, is it better than God of War 3? I don't think so, but it's really fucking good. It's really fucking good. I was a huge fan of them when Colin Moriarty was with Kind of Funny. Now they're just too corporate. You know, I mean, seriously, Encryption, let's talk about that briefly. I mean, I love this stuff. I love watching all the game world. You know, whether you're talking about journalists or developers or gameplay, the whole thing just fascinates me. And I look at it, you know, it's someone who's trying to build a YouTube channel, meaning me, and I look at someone like what Colin and Dustin and Raygun are doing, and I say, well, they're clearly found the formula that lays the golden egg. And I wondered, is Kind of Funny, I don't know if Kind of Funny is doing brilliantly or poorly. I have no way of knowing that, right? But I know that I don't enjoy it as much as I used to. I still have great affection for Greg, and I think they're really good people over there. But there's something that, and what I was wondering is, I wonder, do they sit down at meetings and say, if they are losing viewers, what's happening? What are we doing wrong? Like, I wonder what that, I'd love to see what that process is like. Jaffe, do you still think Silent Hill is a thing, Sweet Daddy Lindo? No. Not really. I think it is for hardcore fans, but I think as a brand, certainly, you know, there's no, you know, it would be great for the hardcore fans to bring it back, but I think it's in that world where if you're going to make a brand new horror game or you're going to make Silent Hill, assuming you're Konami, right, you have the rights. You know, I mean, I think it's you could do so much with Silent Hill with your own IP versus just going back and having to be tied to paying royalties to Konami. So I think it's fine, but I don't think it's the knees bees like everyone else does. I don't mean the old school Silent Hill. I mean in terms of if you brought it back today. The number of gamers under the age of 20 that give a fuck about Silent Hill are pretty fucking tiny. Do me and Andy House ever talk still? I never talk to him all that much at all, Bacon. I used to run into him at the mall, the Hillsdale Mall up in Foster City, and we would talk then. And you know, we would talk from time to time whenever we ran into him at conferences and things. But you know, it's not like he and I were on buddy terms. Like, hey, Andy, there's a new movie, let's go see it. We weren't that kind of relationship. How do I feel about Frosk Da Vinci, the lady on G4 TV? I don't really have any feelings about her. I tend to agree with her politically, but at the same time, I think some of the things that she said on TV a couple of weeks ago that got her a lot of heat were really stupid and incorrect. But politically, sure. I mean, there's not much I can disagree with. Sorry. Hey, Jaffe, says Lorenzo, is Sony San Diego secret studio still around, or what's the studio presumably on the TLU? So what has happened, we'll talk about 1313 a little bit virtual. So what has happened is that you had Mike Mumbauer and a number of his folks who... Q, are you watching this stream? I didn't butt dial you. I told Siri to call... Emiko, and I guess it called Q. So, but if you're watching, good to see you, Q. I miss you. But anyway, yeah. So Mumbauer's group went off from that studio, and they started That's No Moon, and they're doing something right now. Which, I mean, you obviously they haven't announced what it is. Big team, $100 million budget, and then another group left before that, and they're actually now a ZeniMax group in San Diego. So ZeniMax, which is basically Xbox, has a group in San Diego now pulled from a number of the people at Sony San Diego. So if there is anything happening at Sony San Diego in terms of development other than baseball, and there probably is, I certainly don't know about it. Nothing respectable about Greg, says CR3D. He's the dude who would bail on you if you got jumped by D-bags in a bar. Look, I've always gotten along with Greg. I'm not going to bash the guy. It's just, I don't have any data for that, you know? I have no reason to do that. But I can tell, you know, I've said what I've said. Really, Jaffe? You've said yes. Isn't that interesting? Jaffe says Encryption, you mentioned Warhawk is hard to revive on your last stream. I think it can come back if the hook is, if they give the players the PSVR 2. Maybe. I'm going to say this and I want to move on. I really, really do. We have a lot to cover. The idea, the thing you have to think about, in my opinion, and it's all it is, when you're talking about resurrecting old intellectual property that you may have grown up on and you may have loved, whether you're talking Warhawk or Silent Hill or Twisted Metal or anything, is that it takes a very special brand to get its hooks into the culture, especially as budgets go up and up and up. And so when you guys bring up these games that were middling successes at best, I mean, Twisted Metal 2012 it made its money back, but it didn't set the world on fire. Warhawk was very much loved, didn't set the world on fire. Same with MotorStorm, right? I mean, same, you know, Silent Hill back on PS1 era, sure, a little bit into PS2, but it's just the thing. My answer will always be, if the franchise burned out, or SOCOM's the same. Why resurrect a franchise based on nostalgia if you only serve to piss off people because you're never going to give them exactly what nostalgia demands, which is making them feel like they felt when they were kids? That train has left the station. And the other part is, why even fight that uphill battle when you can create new IP that might connect better in the way the old IP never did? So that's my answer to all of those questions about old IP. Tony Barnes says, I'm pretty sure I could do up a Warhawk remake, but I don't know it would do well in today's market, right? Unless I made it into a battle royale. Even then, though, and we're going to talk about that actually in a little bit. We're going to talk about 1313 too, Tony, and I like how you were laughing because I don't know if you've got any dirt on that, but I would absolutely like to get your take on it. Okay. I just want to give credit where credit is due. You guys know that I take... Oh, let me get that super chat real quick. I appreciate that, buddy. That is from good Sir Dennis, our newest God of War member. I think he's a God of War member. He's our newest member. He's not a God of War member. Maybe he is. I don't know. He's a new member. Doesn't matter. He's here. He's welcome. Dennis says, hey there, Jaffe. Have a great stream. Don't forget to check private messages on Discord. I've sent all the information you requested. Oh, yes, I got it. I absolutely got it. We will be getting that out. And I found the design document for people who won the God of War design document. I will be sending that out as well. Okay, so credit where credit is due. I take the shit on Activision and Ubisoft and all that, but to their credit today, the news comes out that an investigation by a third party investigated Ubisoft Singapore, not all of them, just Singapore. And they said that the labor rights body reported that employee salaries were performance-based. It was not racial pay disparity. And they said that the misconduct reports were being handled appropriately. Now, that's only one of Ubisoft's many studios, but, you know, tip of the hat to the Ubisoft folks. I'm, you know, as much as I feel, you know, a lot of this stuff is absolutely horrible and unacceptable, like most people, when they step up and try to make it better, you gotta give them some props. So I appreciate that. I'm glad to talk about that. Dennis, another super chat, buddy. He says, Jaffe, have you played Carmageddon? Games came out the same time as Twisted Metal, and they were kind of same but different. I have not played it. I own it. It looked to me like a racing game, and I was just like, yeah, it's, you know, whatever. So I own it, but I've never actually played it. Okay, yeah, Eternal says, like, going back to the old IPs, Eternal says people want Prototype back. I like brutal games and all, but that had no originality in terms of open world. Bad storytelling was extremely repetitive after the second hour. I never even played it, but what I can tell you, though, is you're absolutely right. It's your own personal love affair with a piece of entertainment is important to you personally, and it's probably very important to the creators who made that piece of entertainment. But just because you love it, here's how you know if other people love it, if they have continued to make sequels. But, you know, sometimes other things get in the way, but more often than not, they're not making SOCOM because they don't think it'll make money right now. They might make it eventually. They're not making Silent Hill. I mean, people say they are. But, you know, we haven't seen one in a long time because Konami's like, we'd rather make pachinko money. Jaffe, if Project Spartacus will be announced by Sony, will they acquire a cheaper publisher like Ubi or Take-Two? There's no way to know that. It's super important, Lyro, but there's absolutely no way I can know. And you can, I mean, we can speculate. Analysts have speculated that Take-Two and Ubisoft are easier gets for Sony, assuming they want to sell, just in terms of the money Sony has on hand. But they also were speculating that they could get EA. So we just don't know. Okay. Oh, Prototype used the tech from the Hulk Ultimate Destruction. That makes sense. That was a great game. Cucamonga says, name one current military shooter IP that connects to an audience the same way SOCOM was successful at doing. SOCOM was humble and made you look up to Navy SEALs. Call of Duty is bombastic, burly, and dumb. Yeah, but you're just describing the differences between Call of Duty and SOCOM. I liked SOCOM. Absolutely. I very much enjoyed that game. I'm just saying that as much as there's a big fan base for it, must not be that big, right? Must not be that big, because they would have made it already. It's kind of like that line in The Social Network. It's like, you know how I know you didn't invent Facebook? Because you would have invented Facebook. It's like, you know how I know that SOCOM probably won't succeed today? Because they're not making it anymore. Because the last time they put it out, it didn't succeed. Yeah, CR says it needs to reboot so hard. Whatever, let's move on. You know what I think. And I you know what I think. I'm not saying they shouldn't make a hardcore military shooter. I mean, what is it called? Insurgent Desert, whatever the fuck it is. I love that game, and that's very SOCOM. I adore that game. Okay, let us move on briefly. Did you guys see today the new Uncharted trailer? I will just put it on in the background while we talk about it. I'm going to turn the audio down, though, so I don't get a ding or whatever. Maybe I'll get one anyway. Who knows? Anyway, you know, here's what I thought about this trailer. I thought it was really interesting My screen is crashing. Come on, Jaffe. There we go. I thought it was really interesting in that I finally understand why I think this movie is going, and I'm going to say it, I'm just going to fucking say it. I'm going to come out and say I think this movie is not going to do well at all, right? I think this movie is going to, is it going to bomb? I don't know about that, but I don't think it's going to do very well. And this is why. This was the first trailer I was able to watch from Uncharted and go, oh, I get why I'm not vibing with this. And here's why. In this trailer, it's the first time that you see a lot. Oh, let me just fuck this. This thing's not loading. It's the first time you see a lot of Mark Wahlberg as Sully, right? And Sully is in this trailer. You see him a lot more. You see their interactions a lot more. Hang on.
I've been dreaming about.
Come on, man. What is with my computer today? And in seeing their interactions, you realize that Mark Wahlberg is a fucking movie star. He's a fucking action hero, and it works for him. And when you put these two guys together and you see Mark Wahlberg fighting and making the jokes and all that, you're like, yeah, that's what we're used to. That is a, you know, he kind of has a little bit of a tougher version of Robert Downey Jr. Tom Holland is great in some roles, but you put him up against Mark Wahlberg, and Mark Wahlberg's the guy you want to be watching go on this adventure, not Tom Holland. I mean, this scene right here, when this line he delivers here, it's so well delivered. It's so wonderfully action movie-ish. And then you cut back to Tom Holland, and you're just like, oh, it's, you know, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't fucking work. Tone says the casting is the main problem for me, and it seems like they're doing nothing to act like the characters. I can't even speak to. Let's put it this way. I'm not one of these guys that demanded this movie be like, I didn't demand this movie be exactly like the game. I understand things have to change sometimes. It wasn't that, oh, I wasn't willing to give Tom Holland a chance as Nathan Drake, as a young Nathan Drake. I didn't like that, but I was willing to keep an open mind. But when you've got a star who almost feels like he's a Make-A-Wish kid, who wanted to be in an action movie, and they're like, yeah, come on down, you can use the green screen at, you know, whatever, Weta. And this is his thing that he got to go home with. That's kind of what this feels like to me. It does not feel like it is a genuinely good casting decision. So, and this, I think, cements it. It's not, again, so a cab says Sully as Mark Wahlberg, no way. He's supposed to be somebody like Tom Selleck. Again, great. But that's not my point. Whether or not they play to the game as strictly as you would like is irrelevant. It's either going to work as a game or as a movie, or it's not. But my point with Sully is when Mark Wahlberg plays the character in the trailer named Sully, whether he's the Sully of your dreams or not, it works. It works for me. And then when they cut to Tom Holland, it feels like it falls apart. Uncle Filthy says, I don't know, after playing the young Nathan Drake in the game, Holland does give me that vibe, but that's not really Uncharted. That's like Uncharted minigame. Again, I don't have a problem with young Nathan Drake. I have a problem with the trailers I've seen so far. Dennis, thank you, buddy. He says, Sony should pick Nathan Fillion. No, they shouldn't. They are identical in looks. I know exactly who Nathan Fillion is. Nathan Fillion is decidedly not a movie star, though. The reason this is getting harder and harder these days, although China has pulled back a bit with what they're releasing over there, is movies have to travel all over the world now. You have to have people who can, be recognizable on the poster. It's one of the reasons we've moved away from these beautiful, Drew Struzman posters from the 80s and a little bit of the 90s, and we have all this Photoshop bullshit now. Because you need to go, oh, I know that guy. I'll go see that movie. Or I don't think Americans do that, but in other parts of the world. So Nathan Fillion is simply not a fucking star. He's never been a star. He's a TV star, but he's never been a motion picture star. And so I think that would be an absolute troubling choice. Yeah, you could maybe give him to Sully, but, okay. There you go. But that's the trailer. Rob says the movie will make its money back, but only a little. No future films. I I don't know. Maybe they'll make a bunch of Sully films. I don't think people get it. Wahlberg has presence, says Tony. The second you see him standing next to Holland, it's clear who the star is. And I like Holland. That's better put than I could have put it, Tony. It's exactly right. Wahlberg, when he's in that fight scene, let me just fucking show you. I don't want to get a ding, but if I do, fuck it. What? Just now I've built it up, and it's not going to be as good. But just watch this for a second.
You have no idea who you partnered with.
It's gonna take a little longer than I thought, kid.
Right? Just I'm not saying that's like the best line in the world, but there's a delivery of I've done action movies before. I've got this kind of grizzled sense, and I can handle myself. And then you cut to Tom Holland.
I assume we're 50-50, right?
Like, even this line is great. When he says, I assume we're 50-50, it works because Holland's playing like a kind of a uneducated guy, and the delivery, the joke goes to Mark Wahlberg.
I assume we're 50-50, right?
50-50? You get 10%, that's me being generous.
Wow.
Right? I mean, I know that's not a great line, but it feels like a movie. Ryan P. says, why do you care about this movie so much, Jaffe? The games are mediocre. The film is following in its footsteps. Well, first of all, Ryan P., I would not agree with you. Diggler goes Uncharted. That's right. That's why I care, because he's Dirk Diggler. So I wouldn't agree the games are mediocre. The games are not for me. I like The Last of Us Part 2 a lot, and I like some of the earlier Naughty Dog games. I have never been a huge Uncharted fan. And so I'm not really like, oh, I want this to be so great because of that. I'm more interested in this whole thing because it's the first thing out of the chute from PlayStation Productions, which is very exciting. I know some of the people over at PlayStation Productions, and I like them personally. I wish success for them. And on top of all of that, it's a fascinating thing to watch with your nose pressed up against the glass, where totally brand new people to this industry, meaning the people from PlayStation who are now running PlayStation Productions, try to navigate this brand new industry. And I look at this, and maybe, you know, I'm more than happy being wrong. I don't care. It's not like I have stock in Sony or this movie. But you look at this, and it's a fascinating, to me right now, it seems like a fascinating car wreck of everything you should never do. And maybe because I did it too, right? I didn't cause a stink when I heard that Brett Ratner was the new director of God of War, 10 years ago. I was like, okay, at least it's a green light. And it was so easy for me, as much as I talked about, we have to be true to the brand, we have to do it for the fans, all that. When you're sitting there in a meeting and someone says, there's a green light for your movie, they're already starting pre-production, look at these monster designs. They're talking about this actor, that actor, and Brett Ratner, whose last movie was an X-Men movie that made like 380 million worldwide box office. It's hard not to get seduced by, oh, we're making a movie, right? I've been there. And so I don't know if these guys are there, but from the outside looking in, it seems like that's what's happening. So that's why I'm interested. Somebody says if Angelina Jolie can get a sequel to Tomb Raider, this can too. It made enough money. If this makes enough money, absolutely. 100%. Brett Williams, thank you, buddy, for the super chat. He says, Jaffe, I've seen plenty of movies over the years that looked horrible from trailers but wound up being great. But this movie will likely suck. Absolutely. Absolutely to both. A lot of movies don't do well in trailers, and it takes off like a rocket. And it also has to do with the expectations game. Like I saw the movie Red Notice. Is that what it's called? With The Rock and Gal Gadot and Ryan Reynolds over the holidays. And it was like a Netflix movie. I was like, whatever. And it ended up being a lot of fun. But it didn't have the ramp up and build up of being Uncharted, which is like one of the crown jewels of Sony's intellectual property for PlayStation. And so you didn't go in with many expectations. And it was like, it was a fun time waster. This probably will be a fun time waster. But it feels like it needs to be more. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, you old knuckles. Let me go down here real quick. I want to say Jaffe, the rumored game movie The Rock is working on is probably BB and Tina. I think that's probably true, but to be perfectly fair, as wealthy as The Rock is, I'm not entirely sure that that The Rock is going to be able to afford getting the license to BB and Tina. So Carl B. Diet Soda Soldiers, thank you so much for being a member for 8 months. I'm going to figure out a way to fix this wheel problem with people unsubscribing and resubscribing to get a spin. But that said, so if they do a God of War movie, do a different Pantheon or Greek. I would start with Greek and I would tell the story the way the story goes. But, you know, I guess you don't have to do that. You could kind of do it like George Lucas did it with Star Wars, right? And start in the middle and then go back. Who knows? Right, Stoner Face, I don't disagree. This will be the movie you watch and forget about as soon as you're done watching it. I think that there's a great deal of truth to that. Absolutely. Okay, have you tried The Rock's energy drink? God, no. God, no. Okay, I want to tell you briefly. This is now... Okay, let's get into some serious video game stuff real quick. Darth Nugget, a few people have. Yes. Okay, I want to talk about this. So this is really interesting. This is an article that came out in Game Industry Biz yesterday, and the title is Legal Trends for the Game Industry in 2022. And this is going to tie in directly to what's happening that that Xbox announced today. But this article, which is really cool, it goes through all the big topics of the of the industry in 2022, and you've got two very expert lawyers working in the game business for many years saying, here's what we think we should be keeping an eye on regarding the kind of legal issues that games will be dealing with and the industry will be dealing with. And I just want to read you some of these, the choice selections. When he goes to NFTs, and yes, we're going to talk about Paris Hilton in a minute, we are not entirely sure, he says, how this is a guy, Dr. Andreas Lauber, and then they have a woman lawyer, Luca Giadabaldi. So this is the guy right now. He says, we're not really sure how NFTs can be really innovative or particularly well integrated or welcome into gameplay in the eye of pure gamers without making games just a mere world for financial speculation. This would be particularly true if publishers will chase the trend of creating NFTs that could keep value outside a certain specific game environment or after the end of the game. So to hear actually very experienced gaming lawyers go, we don't really know what these fucking things are either, you know, just one more log on the fire of what in the fuck is this thing that's trying to be shoved down our throats. Anyway, here's what he says. In any case, play-to-earn business models, which is what you do with NFTs. All the NFT-based games right now are play-to-earn. If you don't know what that means, you buy an NFT character, you build them up, you shore them up, grind them up, level them up, whatever, and then you can sell that or weapons to someone else. And then the money that you make from that sale can be sent out and become real money, right? So that's what he's talking about, okay? That's play to earn. So it's gambling and it's stock market, which is gambling, and it's a way you can actually make real money. And my guess is that the publisher would take a percentage of that real money that you're making. So he says, in any case, play to earn business models will certainly find sooner than later their own market. Maybe not amongst hardcore fans of esports and whatnot, but certainly for some genres and territories. The recent example in popularity of Sky Mavis's Axel Infinity, which I hear is a mess right now because they can't get the economy balanced anymore, a fight game where fighting characters are NFTs themselves created by the players that can be won and exchanged through the game, is certainly a sign of the times. Apparently in Southeast Asian countries, it has become a source of income for those who could no longer earn a living in the midst of the COVID pandemic. This may be the moment we have to re-examine why many online game companies were opposed to real money trading of virtual objects. Legal problems when changing the game's balance, for example, or randomized games mechanics becoming more problematic under gambling laws. So, again, it's interesting that all of these companies are jumping on this bandwagon, and the concern is regulation, and they don't really mention that as a concern. And then here you have a lawyer with experience going, you know, this may not fly. It may not fly, at least in America. So it's really weird that people are just jumping into this one without having, you know, have a bit of a guarantee. Maybe they're like, fuck it, if it doesn't work, it's cheap to get in. I have no fucking idea. Listen to this one. This is the one that matters to people today, like literally today. Well, that's true, Matt. The stock market's not gambling if you're in Congress. Sure. Okay, that's fair. But you know what I mean. It's gambling if you're a normal human. Okay. So there were a bunch of laws passed in Europe recently, part of what they call the New Deal for consumers. We will never get this in America. We will never get this in America. The only way we're going to get some of this is if companies like Xbox, for example, feel it is in their monetary value to simply replicate the same end-user license agreement all over the world versus America having a very different one. Or all over Europe, sorry. But listen to some of the things that are part of this, right? What they're doing is unfair commercial practices directive, the consumer rights directive, the price indication directive, the unfair contract directive. It's all kinds of things. It's pushing for more transparency. It would allow customers to have some kind of payback and punishment on the company if they release a demo and then the game comes out is clearly not what that demo was. It will allow people to sell back games a lot easier if the games are not to their satisfaction within a certain amount of time. And listen to this, it says, the sanctions become more severe. Just consider that fines which can be imposed for breaches, including invalid clauses in the terms of service, can scale up to 4% of the worldwide turnover of the company. So if they fuck with this, there's big financial punishment. So today, Xbox announces that they're changing how they're handling renewals for Game Pass and Xbox Live Gold in the UK. And I'll show you what this is because this, like I said, this is so customer friendly. But in America, I don't think we'd get this because the politicians are, it's not like they're not corrupt in Europe, but for some reason I could see the politicians being more beholden to the companies than us. But better upfront, this is what Microsoft is doing. Microsoft's providing more transparent upfront information to help customers understand their membership, making clear, for example, the sub will auto-renew unless the customer turns it off. This is what's interesting, though. So if you don't play Xbox Game Pass, but you keep paying for it, these guys are now going to reach out to you and say, hey, you're still paying for this. They'll remind you of it. And then if you continue to not use it, Microsoft takes the job of saying, we're going to just turn it off until you come back so we won't be charging you for it, right? The very thing that a lot of these sub-services depend on is people forgetting about them. And it's too much trouble. Well, in Europe anyway, that's not going to be an option anymore. And Microsoft's kind of getting ahead of it. Microsoft will contact existing customers on the recurring 12-month contracts and give them the option to end their contract. Microsoft gives clear indication of future price rises and will ensure people know how to turn off auto renewal if they don't want to go with the higher price. Now, will these things come to America? I doubt it. But it's nice to see at least some governments in the country are willing to not only roll over and be total slavish dogs to the corporation. Because this is great. I wish we had this here. Especially the returnal policy. You can't tell me that the idea of I bought a game, I played it for 20 minutes, I didn't like it, it sucked, it wasn't what I thought. You can't tell me that that's not going to get hit directly by this stuff in Europe. So I'm just saying. Okay, let's move on. This was interesting. Now, this was from 2021, but I saw somebody talking about it in the chat earlier. And so I looked it up before the stream started because I was just kind of like, is that true? And then I started thinking about it. So somebody in the chat was saying the Forza Horizon player count back at the mid-December had plunged 75% since the launch, right? And Halo has seen similar drops. And some people have been going like, what do you mean do I respond to super chats? Of course, but not immediately. I got to get to them when there's a cadence, baby. Come on, Dirty Drips, give me a break. I'll get to you, buddy. I appreciate it. So, and now you've broken my... John Flattery said that. There you go. So, see, I'm reading this shit. I'm reading all of it, baby. But it's not... But I know, Bacon, you're trolling. Bacon says Microsoft can't keep their audience entertained. It's actually sad. No, that's not what it is. I mean, I'm sure that's true for some people. But these are two of the best rated games of the year. The reason these numbers don't matter like they will matter for when Sony's next big multiplayer game comes out, and within a month, if the player count plunges to 75%, they're in fucking trouble. But on Game Pass, though, it's like you can't, the number of people who bought Horizon 5 in the past is probably relatively close to the number of people who are still playing Horizon 5 now. I'd add maybe 10%, because people who tried it, maybe out of everyone who tried it, maybe 10, 15, 20% said, hey, I really love this. I'm now officially a fan of this franchise. But whenever you give something away for free, you're going to have the looky-loos, and you're going to have the people who come in and go, not for me. You're going to have the people like me who come in and go, hey, I really like both these games. I'm having a lot of fun. And after about 3 or 4 weeks, I'm done and I move on with my fucking life. That 75% when you're talking about a subscription service is not the same as a 75% drop when you're talking about a paid title. That's all I'm fucking saying. I have not talked about Forbidden West yet. No. Let me get this super chat. Thank you, Dirty Drips. Dirty Drips is super chatted. Thank you, buddy. He says, Jaffe, if you had to make a game and could only use the Decima engine or Unreal 5, which would you choose? I would choose Unreal 5. And that is because, and thank you for the super chat. That is because, my good man, nice graphics are great, and especially if you're making a AAA game, nice graphics are essential, and you have to make it look good. I think certainly a custom engine built by the internal Sony people would be a better graphics workhorse when everybody figures out how to master it and stuff. But ultimately, because I'm more into gameplay and the design of the thing and all that, you can get up to speed with a new team a lot faster on Unreal 5. And you can also get a lot of pre-made assets that you can plug in while you're waiting for your art team to finish stuff, and rough mechanics you can get in like in an hour. It's like, well, we don't have our shooting physics in yet. Just take this off the asset store, put it in. We'll at least use that to test out some of our theories about gameplay. So I imagine Decima has some of that too that internal teams share, but I would go with Unreal. But frankly, depending on who the team was, I would go to the lead programmer and the CTO and say, here's what I want us to make. What do you think makes the most sense? Which engine? It's really not my, wheelhouse to know that. I would leave it up to them. CR says, Jaffe, are you on crack? Unreal has way more potential than Decima graphically speaking. Are you even familiar at all with the engine? I'm familiar enough to tell you that the Decima engine is written from the ground up for a specific piece of hardware. And I'm familiar enough with Unreal 5 to tell you that it has to support Xbox and PCs, and it has to support PlayStation, and it may have to, I don't know what else it has to support, probably not Meta 3, but the new Oculus headset that's between Meta 2 and Meta 3 that's supposed to be high-end. It's got to support, no, I would suggest to you that when you build a engine from the ground up for the hardware that you know you're going to work on, you're going to have a much higher percentage of games that look better in that engine. That's what I would say. Jaffe's not on the crack, he is on the dope. That is true. I am on the dope. Okay. Of course, D-Trucks, the demo for Unreal 5 was amazing. Absolutely. But so what? It's got nothing to do with his question. But I don't disagree with that. I think you're right. It was very, very cool. Very, very cool. All right. Listen to this. I actually have an answer to this. And I don't know, and I know it sounds like I'm being silly, but I'm not. This was actually a tweet yesterday on the Nintendo, whatever it's called. The goddamn Nintendo Twitter account. Goddamn thing. Whatever. Cockadoodie thing. They ask a question of their audience. They says, look, fellas, which character from a Nintendo game would you like to invite to dinner? And they said, they haven't done it yet, but they said they were going to announce the results. I haven't seen them yet. Let me see if they announced them in a different tweet. But I thought about this because I thought it's stupid, whatever. And then when I thought about it, I actually was like, oh, I would really like to have dinner with this or that character. So I brought them up. And let me these are the two that I would want to have dinner with the most, okay? of their cavalcade of that's pretty good. A cab says I would invite Toad and make myself mushroom soup. That's horrible. You're going to hell, sir. You're going to hell. But so I would choose Ganon, and I would choose Kid Icarus, right? Because I think that the dinner conversation, like, I think the obvious is like, oh, I'll choose Daisy, I'll choose Zelda, because I want to have sex with them. I'll choose Samus, I want to have sex with her. Of course I do. I'll choose Diddy Kong, I want to have sex with him. Of course I do. I wouldn't want to have sex with Boo because it would get boring because you can only fuck him from behind. But the point is, I would choose Ganon, okay? And I would choose Icarus, Kid Icarus. And here's why. I would choose Ganon because, unlike Donkey Kong, unlike Bowser, right? They're not like childishly evil. He's a really bad, evil fucking guy. And just like I like to have racists call into the show or assholes call in because I want to get under their skin and figure out what makes them tick. What causes someone to be that cruel and evil? And do they think of themselves that way? I could have a 5-hour dinner conversation with Ganon about, explain this to me. You have money, you have wealth, you have power, you're safe, you're not going to be on the streets. Why are you consistently being an asshole? So I'm serious. I would like to have that conversation with him. The Kid Icarus conversation would be more about God. Because God would be like, Icarus is like, hey, you know Zeus. You know the gods. They're real things. Explain this to me. Did they go away when the Christian gods rose up? Are they still, is Zeus still God, but now he is Jesus or Yahweh or Muhammad? It's just that he changed the way he presents to the modern world, but he's still the same God that you deal with back in your adventures. I would have that conversation. I would absolutely have that conversation. I like my Ruin who says I'd pick Kirby and hit up a buffet. I like that, but I would think about that because Kirby would suck it all in. First, you're at a buffet, right? Which means it's all you can eat. So you don't really need Kirby. But let's assume, fine, let's assume you did. Well, sure, he can suck it all up, but you have to basically eat his regurgitated food. I don't know why you would choose that. Yeah, Crazed Assassin says Jaffe's thinking too deep into it. My first thought was, which one can I fuck? And I gave you the list of those. That ain't very deep. It depends on who I pick. But when I really did driving around, started to think about it, I don't know. These are some interesting characters that you could have really interesting conversations with. In fact, when Nintendo makes chatbots for all these characters, which inevitably they will in the next 20 years, I will sit there and try to have these conversations with them and let's see what happens. I would love it. It's like, yeah, no, I'm in. I'm totally in. Why would you have, Matt B, why would you have dinner with Donkey Kong? Yeah, Zaf, dinner with Wario would turn into a chat about getting rich quick. Dinner with Wario would be all about NFTs. That's probably what it would fucking be like. Kirby has the mouth. Listen, I'm saying you can't be sexual with him, okay? You've got to look at it as an actual just proper dinner at a very fancy restaurant like the Olive Garden, and you're sitting there and you're just kind of like, all we can do is talk to each other. That's what should define the choice, not which one of these characters you want to fuck or get fucked by. Freaky Deaky says Ganon was abused and neglected as a child, not socially accepted. He has a permanent chip on his shoulder. Is that his backstory, really? Isn't this brain thing up here? That's Metroid, right? That's the brain character in Metroid. You know me and Metroid. I don't fucking know. That might be an interesting thing, just to talk to the brain. It's just pure intellectual discourse because he has nothing else. Oh, yeah, well, Chili's, either Olive Garden or Chili's, Protoss X, absolutely. Okay, let's move the fuck on. I want to talk about... Okay, so somebody earlier was asking about... we were talking about a service game earlier on today's show. And there's some really interesting stuff that is there's some really interesting stuff that is happening in that world, and I want to talk about that real quick. Welcome to wherever you are, says service games suck, David. I don't agree with you, but I mostly agree with you. I don't tend to like them. There have been a few over the years I've loved, like Hearthstone, but Avoid the Void says Donkey Kong has a chip on his shoulder from getting vaccinated. Or Ganon, right? My dinner with Babam. Listen to me. Stop. Enough. Now. Come on now. Like, I loved Hearthstone. But most service games, I don't really make the time for after a week or two, okay? So I'm always interested in what makes them work, okay? So let me just walk you through a couple of things. So Hyperscape, which is Ubisoft's 100 Battle Royale game with, I think, some parkour. I've never even fucking played it. It's less than 2 years after they've launched, and they're already shutting down in April. Now, it's one thing for a game like Drawn to Death to not last almost a year, a little bit more than a year. It was an experiment for Sony. You know, it looked weird. It was very out there in a lot of the mechanics. But my understanding about Hyperscape is it's a very traditional, well-made, solid video game. It's just, you know, it wasn't interesting enough to separate from the pack. And you go, okay, well, that's a lot of money spent for them to learn that they didn't have a hit on their hands. And I've learned this lesson certainly from Drawn to Death, a little bit with Calling All Cars, but so I'm getting somewhere with this. Okay, so these guys spent a lot of money on this. And there's also news coming out today that Brawler Royale Rumbleverse delays their launch, announces another test date. Now, Rumbleverse was shown at the Game Awards, and during that, we had somebody from our chat talk to us about, hey, I was in the beta for that, or the alpha, or whatever, and it's fucking awesome, right? So apparently, this is a game to look forward to. But here we are again. Clearly, these guys have spent a great deal of money on this thing. Well, I don't know if it's a great deal of money, but they've spent real money to make it a real game. It's polished, just like Hyperscape is. And they're still not sure. They're still not ready to release it. They're pushing it back again. Similarly, Destruction All-Stars, I just downloaded it again today with the latest patch. And they've done a lot. It's better than it was. Like, we're doing a game night Saturday night here on Gabbin' and Games, and we're trying to figure out the games we're going to play. And, you know, I may bring this one in for a couple of rounds just to see what everybody else thinks, because I'm not saying it's like suddenly an awesome game. It still lacks the stickiness, but it's definitely meaningfully improved, right? But all three of these games are probably going to fail, just like even Knockout City, which was a really good game, but I don't know how sticky that's been, or Laser Tag Arena, or all these multiplayer games that are so lightning in a bottle for the most part, that you just start to wonder, is there a better way to do this? Can you find out if your game is going to hit before you end up, you know, spending all this fucking cash, right? Well, the answer is yeah, because Splitgate Season 1 adds new modes today and custom maps today. If you guys played the original Splitgate, it was very simple to look at. It was really fucking fun. It proved itself at its mechanics level, how sticky it was, how deep the moment-to-moment was, and they were able to go off and raise $100 million off that because they proved that their concept and that their execution of that concept was a viable product. Why these much bigger companies, I mean, this is a teeny tiny little 1047 games. Why Sony and whoever is funding this, I think it's a relatively, developer Iron Galaxy, I don't know if they publish and develop it, but they're an established company, and certainly Ubisoft, why these guys are going to the mat spending all this money without knowing that their game is going to connect, I don't fucking know. Right, Matt B says there's too little time. Most of the big hits are still going. Right, so you've got to be sure that your game has a space. You 100% of Destruction All-Stars. Oh, cool. Yeah, it wasn't the knockout success they wanted it to be. That's right. At least I don't think it was. I want to try that, but after your stream the other night, I'm scared to buy it in case it becomes free to play. Oh, Destruction All-Stars? Yeah, it seems like that's where they're going. They want to make their earnings look good for their investors, says Ryan. Well, I understand that, but wouldn't a big hit game like Fortnite or Rainbow Six Siege or Call of Duty look better to their investors than, hey, we canceled this because it wasn't making money and so we took a loss, but we're not taking more of a loss or something? What do you mean I'm not thinking in long term? Splitgate's dev's billionaire dad probably put up most of the cash. That may be the case, but ultimately it wasn't a lot of cash wherever they got the cash from. If you played the beta, because today's Season 1 launches, it was not that expensive of a title to make. Eddie says, oh, I'm with you, pal. Eddie says, it always makes me sad to see developers still putting out content for a game that clearly not a lot of people are playing. And it's too far gone to bring more people in. You got to hit in your window. Absolutely. 100%. Absolutely. We did that on Drawn to Death. Towards the end, it was just like, it's like keeping a dog alive that you have to put down. But it's like, well, the vet's on vacation for 2 weeks, so I guess we'll take him to the park and he'll just sit there in his own drool. That's terrible, Jaffe. Oh, no, it's so-and-so. People are following trends now and letting go of innovation. The Battle Royale trend has big players now and every game wants to be roguelike. Well, I think those are two different things. I think if you're spending a lot of money on a service-based game, the Battle Royale trend makes sense for them because they're following the trend. I think the reason you're seeing a huge expansion of rogue games in the indie space is they're simply cheaper to make. You can make a lot more content, or because the content's happening in your head and on continued replays of a lot of the same assets. So I think that's why a lot of indie developers tend to go for rogue and procedurally generated, which I fucking hate. Legend says Destruction All-Stars was free already. I bought it from the PS Store when it dropped for PS5, so when I get my PS5, I can download it. Right. Yeah, if you downloaded it in that first month, like I did, you already have it for free. But if you didn't, you'd have to pay for it. But I don't have a feeling we're going to stick around and play it a lot. I just want to see if other people agree. But I played a couple rounds before the stream, and I was like, the hits feel a lot better. They've tuned the turbos, so you're able to turbo into people a lot more often, which is what you want to do in a Destruction Derby. The arenas are smaller, and so you get a lot more moment-to-moment interaction with your competitors versus driving around and looking and things like that. Okay. I want to talk about this. You have to have seen this. Did you not see this? This was so... I'm just going to play this. It's 1 minute and 17 seconds. It's from The Tonight Show the other night with Jimmy Fallon. And if you've seen it, you'll want to see it again. You can't really look away.
Hey, what's up? And then
and if you haven't seen it, watch this. And then after this, we'll talk about it for a couple minutes. Here you go. This is from The Tonight Show a couple days ago.
Yeah, I jumped in.
I know, I heard. I'm so happy I taught you what they were.
You did. You taught me what's up, and then I bought an ape.
I got an ape too, because I saw you on the show with people, and you said you got a MoonPay, so I went and I copied you and did the same thing.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
This is your
mine.
ape.
Yeah,
We debuted.
it's really cool. Like the hat, the shades.
Now what? How did you pick? Because you can pick your ape.
Yes, I was going through a lot of them, and I was like, I want something that like kind of reminds me of me, but this one, it does. I think we made like another version of it where he takes the hat off and blonde hair comes out. So,
Yeah, because you can do now whatever you want.
Mm-hmm, animated version.
We're part of the same. We're part of the same community. We're both apes.
I love it.
Here's my ape. This is my ape.
Yours is so cool. I love the red heart sunglasses. I love the captain hat.
It reminded me of me a little bit because I wear striped shirts. Mm-hmm. I've worn these heart sunglasses because my daughters, just as a joke, they have them, and as a joke, I put them on. So I've done this. And I love yacht rock and being breezy. So I'm like, yeah, that kind of, and I like the blue. Mm-hmm. Dude, look at us.
They look like they could be friends.
They're buddies.
What I was going to say is yes, that is Paris Hilton. She's been into the NFTs for a bit. Apparently, she got Jimmy Fallon into them, and Jimmy Fallon spent about $240,000 on his, like US dollars, and now, as a lot of these different, I don't know what you call them, Ethereum, which is I guess a type of cryptocurrency, as the value has crashed a bit, it's worth half that. It's worth $100,000 now, right? So, I mean, I bring it up just because I honestly have to tell you guys, I honestly think something is going on. Like, are we in a simulation? This feels, the NFT metaverse push, I don't know if I've ever experienced anything like this. It almost feels, and I'm not fucking with you guys, and I'm not crazy. I know this isn't happening, or probably not happening. It almost feels like we are in a simulation and they're having to change it live. Like, we can't do it when we're all asleep. It has to just be pushed real time onto the server. And so it's this thing that's sort of almost like forcing its way in to our culture, and no one can really explain it. Everyone's trying to sell you on it. Game companies are trying to get in on it. I can't open an article researching for the stream without seeing the word metaverse. And I'm just kind of like, what is this? Because no one could look at that Jimmy Fallon thing and walk away going, all right, I need to go get a fucking ape. Unless you're a fucking ape yourself, unless you're a fucking moron. It feels literally insane, says Chris. That's exactly right. Brad says people are bored. Life is too comfortable. Maybe. NFTs are a pathetic attempt by banking establishment to delegitimize blockchain technology. I don't know what it is. All I know is it doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay? Let me tell you one more thing. But this I will tell you made some sense. So, Jason Rubin, who you guys should know if you don't, is one of the founders of Naughty Dog. And he he left Naughty Dog after a while. They sold it to Sony. He left. He wrote some comic books, and then he's been doing some things. But he's been with Oculus for a while. And he just got promoted to sort of a metaverse position in Oculus to sort of really work on that. I only want to bring this up because Jason Rubin's the guy who explained the metaverse for the first time, where I said, not NFTs, none of that shit, but the concept of the metaverse. I liked the way he talked about it with Dean Takahashi the other day at the Future of Work Summit that you can see all these on the stream now. I just want to tell you some of the choice things that Rubin said that actually made me say, okay, this guy is explaining it in a way that sounds interesting, all right? So this is from the article. This is actually from the transcription of the conversation between Dean and Jason Rubin. Yeah, I've been hearing I need to watch the Folding Ideas on NFTs, that video. Absolutely. I'm not trying to sell you on the metaverse. I just think what he's saying, I'm like, okay, that seems like it makes some sense. He says this. When Jason Rubin joined Oculus VR in 2014, he was handed a copy of Ready Player One, one of the books that helped define the metaverse. Now, I will tell you, as a guy who read Ready Player One about 3 years ago, when it was starting to come out, like VR was starting to become a little bit more mainstream, I was in love with it. I adored the fucking book. I fantasized about going into a world like that. As much as I liked the movie, the book was even better for really explaining how the Oasis was fucking badass, right? So the fact that they are going after that version of the metaverse is pretty fucking cool. Okay, but let's keep going. So then he's talking to Dean. He says, he says for a while when he got to Oculus, he was focused on games and VR experiences. But he says, I think what's changed recently, this is Rubin talking, is all the things needed to make the metaverse happen, not only at Facebook, but I think why in the wider community around the world has suddenly started to happen. We didn't know cryptocurrency would become what it was, but there are interesting things going on there, whatever. We didn't know VR would be as successful as it has been. We had a fantastic holiday season this year, but that happened. We didn't certainly know that something like Roblox would be where it was, or Fortnite would be where it was when Oculus was acquired. But the world has slowly but surely, over this period of time, and with COVID, become more comfortable spending time together in 3D spaces. Okay, and I think so far so good. I think he's right. I think that's correct. And then he says, as for implementing it, he says two things that I really like. This is the first one. He says, this is going to take a long time for certainly the sci-fi versions of the metaverse to happen. But even for some of the more practical possible things, he said, earning the name metaverse is going to take a few years to be certain. Right now, what we need to do is we need to make our platform for building Horizon the best it can be. Horizon is kind of like their current version of the metaverse. I've been in it. It's stupid. I mean, it's fine. You can walk around and talk to people. It's basically just chat VR with some games in it. But I like the fact that he's looking at it realistically and saying, look, we can pie in the sky it and say we're building Ready Player One. It's going to change the world, blah, blah, blah. But I do very much like the idea that Rubin is saying, we got a long way to go. And right now, let's just try to take baby steps. That's the first non-hyperbolic way I've heard someone talking about this that actually makes the kind of brain I have go, okay, let me actually sit and listen to this guy and see what he has to say, right? But this was the thing that I really loved. And anybody who has done game night here on Gabbin' and Games can vouch for the difficulty of what he says they're trying to solve. He says the metaverse should be able to transport you anywhere so you can do anything rather than take you back to a menu every time you change activities. Going back to a menu doesn't feel very metaverse-like, but we have to build that, he says. As we mentioned, for a company to get mass adoption, we need to be everywhere. Right now, that's focusing on 2D flat screens on mobile. So I think you need to see us expand what we're doing there first. So he's even saying that right now, the focus of building the metaverse isn't even virtual reality. It's literally the ability to be with your friends in a virtual setting, even if it's a 2D screen, and go and say, okay, we're done doing this chat, for example, right? Let's just say you're watching this stream. What he's saying is, even on flat screens, I need to be able to say, and I think he's right, hey, that was a fun stream. Thank you for hanging out with me. I am now going to go and hit up the virtual mall, or I'm going to go play a couple of rounds of Halo. And instead of like, okay, what's your ID and what's your name? And is this crossplay and all this shit? I just hit a button and anybody who wants to go with me, suddenly we're in the Halo quote metaverse. That is a huge fucking deal, right? That sense of being able to stay connected with your peers or your group as you move through digital experiences. That's a very real and important and sexy problem that needs to be solved, because anybody who's tried to play multiplayer games realizes that that is a fucking nightmare right now. When we try to do online games and we jump from Call of Duty to Splitgate to Bomberman Online, it's just kind of like, all right, well, where are you? Are you here? Are you hosting? No, I'm if that's all we get out of the metaverse, I'll be happy. The Axiom, thank you for the super chat. He says, wasn't that PlayStation Home? PlayStation Home did actually have some games in it, but I checked out of PlayStation Home very, very quickly. So maybe towards the end, but even then the games weren't very good, to be fair, that were available in home. And if you wanted to leave home and go somewhere else, you still had to shut off the executable version of home and load up another game, and it was just, buying groceries in the virtual world, says Legends, going shopping in the virtual world, talking to teachers and coworkers, gaming and vacationing in the virtual world. I'm not vacationing, but yeah, I mean, I'm all in, man. I mean, I love living in the digital space, and I'm going to try to get this guy on the show. He may be too big shot for me, but there's a guy who has a book out about this, talking, and I'll just read you the very end of it. But this guy is he's the guy who coined the term the hard problem of consciousness, which I'm sure you've heard of, and he's written a book about digital spaces and virtual reality and things like that. Okay. And he says, his name is Chalmers. He's a professor of philosophy at New York University. He says he's been thinking deeply about the nature of simulated reality after using VR headsets like Oculus Quest 2 and realizing the technology is already good enough to create situations that feel viscerally real. VR, he says, is now advancing so quickly that it seems reasonable to guess, this is him talking, that the world inside VR could one day be indistinguishable from our world. Chalmers said this could happen within a century, but the writer of the article says, I'd be surprised if we didn't get there in 2 decades. Whenever it happens, the article goes on, the development of realistic VR will be earth-shaking for reasons both practical and profound. The practical ones are obvious. If people can easily flip between the real world and virtual ones that feel exactly like the real world, which one should we regard as real? You might say the answer is clearly the physical one, but why? Today, what happens on the internet doesn't stay on the internet. The digital world is so deeply embedded in our real lives that its effects ricochet across society. After many of us have spent much of the pandemic working and socializing online, it would be foolish to say that life on the internet isn't real. So, I mean, this is coming, and I'm excited about it. I like the digital world. The digital world allows you to do things you can't do in the physical world, and we're not there yet. We're not there by a country mile yet. But you know, I remember having an argument with my brother. We were driving across the country, and it was something about the nature of reality, and I said, you know, a video game or virtual reality is no less real than this. And he says, what are you talking about? Of course this is more real. And I said, but it's really not, right? We are in biological virtual reality. That's all we're, you know, we don't see anything. We're in total darkness. Every creature on this planet is in total darkness. If it isn't for their eyes that take the light of the real world, and even though it's on a delay by a number of milliseconds, you're seeing the past when you see. Like my hand doing this happened, you know, X milliseconds ago. It's not happening right now. We take that light, we convert it in our brains to something called images, and then we can, quote, see, right? But we're taking atoms and quarks and all kinds of things and converting them into some kind of visual thing, and we're calling that real. But I agree with this guy. I don't know how much different it is if it becomes indistinguishable. Why does it matter which one is the other one? What if life on Earth could be heaven, Jaffe? You mean like we are in heaven right now? Then we all got tricked really bad. Once a tool becomes a way of life, we're lost. I mean, I don't really know if I agree with you, Zaf. I mean, there's a lot of things that I do with technology and tools frequently, but I don't think I'm lost for it. I think as long as you can disengage and connect with yourself underneath all of that. You should read Free Will by Sam Harris, not about metaverses. I've absolutely heard him, Churros, talk about Free Will, Sam Harris. It's fascinating. And I was always of the belief that we don't have free will. But after hearing him talk, I absolutely don't think we have free will. Legend says we can easily create the powerful virtual world. Think about all the supercomputers in the world to power it. We use supercomputers for different things. What if you combine them? I mean, that's already happening. There was an announcement a couple of days ago. God, it was Microsoft maybe and some other company are partnering to build this massive fucking supercomputer. And that's basically what it is. I mean, it doesn't combine all of them, but eventually we will. Being connected to the metaverse all the time and living it is being lost to the self and what reality is. I don't agree with you. I can't say yes or no yet because we haven't had that experience yet. But what I will tell you is that the concept of reality is a construct, and the idea that one reality is more noble than the other one, I don't know if I would agree with that. I mean, you know, I think philosophically speaking, that's what this guy is talking about in his book. And if I can be so fortunate to get him on the show, I would love to ask him about it. But he, you know, he basically says virtual reality isn't the same as ordinary physical reality, but its effects on the world are not fundamentally different. It's a genuine reality all the same. Thus, we should not regard virtual worlds as mere escapist illusions. What happens in VR, quote, really happens, he says, and when it's real enough, people will be able to have fully meaningful lives like VR. So, you know, there you go. Oh, there's no doubt. Optimism says Roblox is the current metaverse. It looks like crap, but it's a metaverse. Sure. I don't agree with you, Cosmic Bandito. I mean, we all share multiple realities, but let us move on, shall we? Okay. Yeah, I'll talk about that later. All right, let's get to talking about Horizon. I know you folks want to talk about Horizon. We'll do it. So a person who lives a life of delusion but is happy is psychologically okay. I'd rather live in the real world as opposed to the other side of the looking glass. Everybody lives under various delusions, though. It's only a question of how aware you are of the delusions and how willing you are to let yourself fall into the fantasy. Real life, you live in delusions all the time. You live in delusions that you're going to be safe. There's a psychological term, and I don't know what it is. I've seen a documentary about it that literally says, that's been named, that says the chances of you dying, stepping out of your home, are higher than anybody thinks. But in order to survive, we have to pretend and shove that down that that's not real. But every time you get into a car, it's not a high chance you're going to die, but it's, it's up there, certainly more up there than flying and dying. And so every reality is every life, I think you have to accept that you're living kind of in some kind of denial. You're just judging which one you think is more acceptable, I think. Pimp My Shed, thank you, buddy, for the super chat. He says, video games are a type of reality. How many of us get lost in endless worlds and games? It's pretty much the same concept. Also, hi, Jaffe. Hello, sir. There was a video, and it's still super cringy. You have to have seen it, where this guy made a video. This is like 8-9 years now, and it's about... he says, I'm a gamer and I lived a million lives. I rescued Princess Zelda and I did this and I did that. And everybody made fun of him, as they should, because he's like, when my parents tell me to get a job or go get a girlfriend, why? Zelda loves me. It's dumb. Okay. But there is a nugget of truth in what you're saying, Pimp My Shed Plays, which is, you can play a game and get lost in it. And of course, that game isn't, quote, real. But if you really dig down, you don't know what's real. Nothing is real. Everything's fucking, as far as we know, fucking atoms banging together. And there's a lot of space in between them when they're not banging together. And that's what makes up our reality. Why is that given an acceptable definition of realism? Right? NPCs aren't real. Well, we may be sacks of meat with chemicals that have no free will at all. We may be as programmed as an NPC, and we're just going through the motions. And if we are in a simulation, whoever put us here is like, well, of course Jaffe's going to reach here and pick up his cup, because that's what his chemicals are going to tell him to do, because that's how he was created. So I think you got to think about this one a little bit more. I think you got to spend some time on this one. It's not what it seems. Legend says you're lack of free will and subject to the delusion if you live in society. You lack free will, and you are subject to the delusion if you live in society. Society is the matrix, not the world. Survivalists are really living freely and free from delusions. I don't even agree with that. It's impossible to believe that, because to be a survivalist requires you to push back against a kind of society and a kind of reality that has defined for people what it means to reject that society. Oh, it's Walden, it's living in the woods, it's making your own food and all this. And somehow, because society has said that is the definition of what it means to live off the grid and to not be a slave to society, that is an acceptable answer to the definition. So, okay. Even when you talk to friends about a game you all play, the act of playing doesn't get referenced in conversation. We talk about it as if we were in the game's world. That's true. You don't say Laura Croft did this. You say I did this. That's right. Right. Vatklavsky says, I completely agree. Everything you perceive is filtered through your senses, mind and constructs, the constructs of the mind. You don't experience truth or reality. You experience a built and filtered perspective of it. Exactly right. Exactly right. Do I like lemonade? I do like lemonade, and I would like to have some now that you mention it. What do you mean? What is happening here? What do you mean? You know, look. We talk about video games, all of video games. We talk about the philosophy of them. We literally before this, and I structured the stream this way on purpose. This ain't all pulling out of my butthole, boys and ladies. Before this, a few minutes ago, we were talking about which Nintendo character you'd fuck and which one you'd take to dinner. Okay, we're about to talk about Horizon, one of the biggest games of the season. We're all over the map here, but it all coalesces in the idea of interactive entertainment. And if you can't hang for that, if the only thing that you can stomach is bang bang pow pow video game talk like something you get on IGN, then you should go watch IGN. Because we are a full service stream here, my friend, Indie Diary. Let's move on. But I do love you, Indie Diary. Will you go to the prom with me? Jaffe, the Horizon Discourse, this is from Gravedoll. Thank you for being a member for as long as you have. I appreciate that, buddy. He says the Horizon Discourse is just the exact same cycle with a different topic. Why are we still giving these goofs airtime? This is exactly what they want. Well, getting airtime on my little show, which I'm grateful everyone is here. Indy, and I was kidding right back at you. I'm right back at you. I'm just fucking around. I'm glad you're here, sir. I'm glad you're all here, but this show is not going to give these people what they want because it's not like it's some massive show. And even if it was, it's interesting to me. Let's get into it. Let's get into it so people understand what Gravedoll is talking about if you don't already. So basically, earlier today, this guy at J-Rock sends out a tweet, okay? And he's showing, I think somebody did, I don't know if it was Digital Foundry or whatever, but they were comparing the old Horizon and the brand new Horizon, okay? So it's just a 4-second clip. I'll show it to you real quick. So here it is. That's loud, sorry. And what he's saying is Zero Dawn, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Forbidden West are using the same animations, the same moveset in a lot of places, and it's copy-paste, ha ha ha, okay? And then a bunch of people on the internet kind of came at him and were like, you're a fucking asshole, you're a piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. A couple places covered it. I saw it first on Destructoid. It was also covered, I think, on Kotaku as well. And I'm really, you know, all I will say, I wanted to bring it up because I know a number of people were talking about it, and they were talking about it not just like fans, but people from Naughty Dog were chiming in, people from Sony Santa Monica were chiming in, and I'm just like, really? This is something people complain about? It's like, if you can't look at Horizon Horizon Forbidden West and go, oh my God, that game is... I thought Ratchet & Clank was the best looking game ever made, and it still is until I play this. But now you're saying that this game is from lazy developers with copy-paste because they're reusing some assets? You must be higher than I am when I'm doing pot and popcorn. You're out of your goddamn mind is what I will say. So, I mean, I just wanted to bring it up because I wanted to see if anybody on the stream actually believed this. Like, I mean, first off, who would notice it unless you were looking at it side by side? And if you're not, right, who cares? And if you are, who cares too? People want the sequels made from scratch, says Eddie T. High visual fidelity and performance, no bugs or glitches, and to release in under 3 years. Right. I mean, well, tough. And do you really? Like, I mean, I just got done playing the last Halo campaign, and I absolutely loved it. If a new Halo comes out in 3 years, and I happen to recognize some animations from one of the grunts. So? What? What's wrong with you? Now, some people, here's the thing. Some people are saying it's just for clicks. Some people are saying it's just trolling. Let's go to this guy's thing. Let's see who this J guy is. You may be right. J-Rock, let's see who this guy is. Leader of the Gremlin Nation. He clearly likes his Xbox. Look at that. That's his fucking, thing right there. He likes his Xbox. Yeah, what a weirdo. No offense to you, J-Rock, but what a fucking... Oh my God, he's making merch? You're making merch, dude? What are you doing? Wasn't this just today? And you're already making the fucking merch? Oh my God, what a... I mean, fine, make your ducats, baby. Make your fucking ducats. But it's just weird, man. That's his life. That's what he's doing to make himself feel better about his life in the simulation. I don't understand that. It's like, what? He changed his Twitter username to Control-C and Control-V. Oh, God. All about the hustle, says Spaz. Yeah, but there's good hustle and there's stupid fucking... Thank you, Henry. There's good hustle and there's dumb hustle. This is dumb hustle. No, the guy's not a genius, Space. If the guy's a genius, I'll tell you when I'll say he's a genius. If suddenly we wake up and we see people at the local grocery store wearing one of these t-shirts, sure. Shouldn't the beef be with IGN that made the video comparison, said Victor. Well, I don't know, Victor, because my understanding is IGN wasn't, I could be wrong, let me go to it, but I don't think IGN was making a comparison in order to say, isn't this a problem? They were, I'm trying to find it, I think he linked to it. I think they were just showing a comparison, and he was the one that kind of picked it out. Where the fuck is it, man? What does he say here? The game, yeah, I mean, these are both bad, but yeah, I don't know where it is. Yeah, it wasn't IGN's intention, says Oddvidya. Yeah, I didn't think so either. Yeah, he'll sell his own NFT by the end of the night, says Eric. Absolutely. To be fair, says Michael Yearwood, both sides are annoying when comparing games. Sony fans were comparing Redfall development footage to God of War, and Xbox proved they can be just as stupid. Oh, there's no doubt. It's all fucking stupid. You guys know how I feel about it. It's so fucking dumb, man. I just cannot stand it. Pimp My Shed, thank you, buddy. He says, it's a fanboy trolling technique. I saw a similar thing when someone was complaining that God of War Ragnarok used the same get in the boat animation. Let's make a viral troll. Let's try right now. Let's do a troll viral, not to J-Rock. What could I do? Let's see. Let's say, people excited for Elden Ring better prep for disappointment given, hang on, given my sources are saying it is even more confusing than Metroid Dread. Come on now. Now let's see. How could I make this? How could I make it clear though, so I can backtrack and say I was just kidding? I have to embed it in the tweet. Okay, people excited for Elden Ring. Just hang on. I'll just do it like I did the Wolverine treat. The only thing that are going to be in capital will be the word. So better prep for disappointment. Otherwise, they are kidding themselves. Given that my come on, I can't. Who should I tag? Oh, that's fantastic. Put copy paste. Come on now. In Selden Cringe. What hashtag should I use, Eternal? Space says, thank you for the super chat. He says, Trollcoin is the future. Look, if I get in trouble for this and people get mad, I get to blame it on Pimp. I get to blame it on Pimp My Shed Plays because he was the one that brought it up and gave me the idea. So, you know, fuck you. Sony. I like hashtag blessed. There you go. It's going to be great. Hang on. Hashtag blessed. Hashtag NFT. Hashtag bored monkey. Hashtag, oh yeah, Dustin. Dustin, no, let's see, Dustin will be fired by March. Come on now. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Oh, Metaverse. Hang on. Let's see. Hashtag BB and Tina. Okay, hang on. Let's see. Troll the Metroid nerds, Jaffe. Oh, yeah. Hang on. Let me do a Metroid one. Hashtag Alloy Beats Samus. Okay, here we go. Tag John Garvin. Okay, boom! It's out. Let me make sure. Let's see. Not yet. We gotta wait. I have that new YouTube Blue, which lets you wait for a minute. But sometimes it misses the tweet, which would piss me off if I have to write that goddamn thing again. Come on. Come on. I may have to write it again. I pay $2 a month, which granted is not a lot of money, for YouTube Blue. And it does this from time to time. It doesn't give you the ability. Fuck, I'm doing it again. I'm sorry. I apologize. You're going to get bored for a minute, but I can't help it. Yeah, there is no tweet. Okay, let me redo it. Now I got to remember what it was. Can somebody roll back the thing and tell me what it was? It was, oh, fuck, man. Fuck. What was it? Okay, let me think. Let me make sure. Maybe it's still there. Maybe it's up there. Come on. Don't let me rewrite it. God damn it. Nope. I'm going to have to rewrite it. All right, that's okay. That's the way it works, baby. That's the way it works. So can somebody remind me what I said? Oh, yeah. People excited for Elden Ring. Oh, no. I got to get rid of the capitals. People excited. I am having fun the second time I'm writing it. People excited for Elden Ring. Just better prepare to be disappointed. They are kidding themselves if they think according to my sources. I have sources. Oh, better. Oh, thanks, Henry. Okay, hang on. People excited for Elden Ring. Just better brace themselves. As my sources say, it's no kidding, just a bit more confusing than convoluted. Okay. And then here we go. Hashtag blessed. Hashtag from software. Hashtag BB and Tina. Hashtag NFT boys for life. Hashtag Alloy crushes Samus. Hashtag copy. Oh, don't do blessed? Okay, okay. It's too obvious. I like it, but yeah, I can see that. Oh, not at copy paste. Hang on. By Horizon instead. Oh, come on. Okay. Oh, yeah, Dustin will be fired. Dustin will be fired by March. Okay. Let me copy it, though. Okay. Here we go. Oh, Metaverse. God damn it. All right. Maybe it knows I'm trolling. Why capitalize the P? No, only the capital letters lets you look at it and say just kidding. See what I did there? I hope I did it right. Where? Oh, here it is. Okay. Oh, no. I have to delete it. Delete. Go back. Do it again. Right. See what I'm saying? You got to have Metroid Dread be uncapitalized. So that way I can say, I was just kidding. Look at the letters that are capitalized. See what I'm saying? All right. Send now. That's what Twitter Blue is supposed to do. All right, let's see. Now you guys go get this tweet and hit that shit out there. There you go. Let's just watch for a minute. I got to take a drink anyway. Let's just see what happens. Oh my God. Oh, well, you guys. Nah, I love it. All right, we'll check back in on the health of this tweet. There's Pimp My Shed. Hey, I gotta make a puppet. Hey, everybody, I'm Pimp My Shed. That's my idea. If anybody gets in trouble, I'm gonna take the brunt of the heat from them. I tell you what. Let's see. Look at that. Look at it. Look at it go. You could like hitch a wagon to that fucking thing. Oh lordy. I know, Aloyne. I'm saying your name right. Fanboys were trying to protect Metroid Dread. It still flopped. Look, I'm not mocking. I get Metroid Dread as a great game for the people who were into that series. I it wasn't good for me, but I absolutely understand. Doug says, Pimp My Shed has a face that shouldn't be allowed within 5 miles of a public school. I understand that. I understand that it's a great game, just not for me. But yeah, it didn't do that well. Cooper says if you listen carefully, you can hear Jason Schreier crying. Yes, that's exactly right. I want to make sure I didn't miss a super chat. There you go. It's from Master Systems. Thanks, pal. He says, love your show, but to be fair, that jump, meaning Alloy's jump or Aloy's jump, is the one thing that bothered me the most from the first game, and I wish they had changed it. Well, I mean, that's fair, but then you're talking about a different thing. Then at that point, I think, Master System, you're just talking about the execution of that piece of animation doesn't sit well with you. And that's a fair criticism. I don't agree or not. I haven't played it, but but that's not what they're criticizing, right? They're criticizing, oh, they're using the same animation. It's like, what would you rather them do? You want brand new animations, or you want better graphics, or do you want it for $90 instead of $70? I mean, there's, I don't know. It just kind of drives me batshit a little bit. Hey, check it out. We got our buddy Mo has just ascended to the gods of war. Buddy, you get a wheel spin in just a minute along with a couple other people. Thank you so much for joining and being a member, bud. I appreciate that. You're already a member, but you've said, no, I will step up and I will be a god of war. You know what? I can't guarantee it. I may end up having an extra. I may end up having an extra copy of God of War: Fallen Gods, which all the God of War members got, but you're a little too late. But if it turns out that I do have that extra copy, if my math is right, I will send that to you as well. And again, if there's anything you want as an ad on the side of the screen, I need your picture up top there, all that shit, hit me up in DM on the Discord, and I will. I'll get you in the credits, and if there's an ad or anything you want to pimp, we'll get on that and all that shit. Thank you, VVLMM. Oh, look at your quote, Rob. Okay, let me just see real quick. Then we'll move on. I wonder if Jaffe's sources are just as bad at video games as he is. Thanks, Jaffe. I just want to buy a signed document. You got to win the signed document, baby. You got to win it. I'm sorry you can't, but maybe you will. I wonder, oh, fuck you, Dustin. You fucker. That was from Dustin. Dustin, you're going to hell after you get fired. What is that? Where's Rob's, man? I want to see Rob's. Oh, my. I don't see yours, Rob. It would be so great, says Time Splitter, if Sony released DLC for 99 cents for new Cliff animation. I wouldn't trust a dude whose screen name is Foreskin Gobbler. Yeah, me neither. Bacon, if you become a God of War member now, can you still get the gift? Trying to think of if I can. I'll let you know tomorrow. I got to make sure I can acquire one. Yeah, I should get NFTs as part of the thing. It got lost in the void. Well, let me go to Rob the Mod. Look at that old handsome mug up there. What'd she say? Oh, yeah, look at that. Rob's game is going to be in this magazine. There it is down there. Monarch. More inside. World's first old school shooter mag. Think about that. Good job, Rob the Mod. Oh, okay. All right, let's move on. But I just want to see. Let me just check and see how many people. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that's cool. I like that. All right, I like that. I don't know what that is. All right, let's just move on. Okay. I'll let you know tomorrow, Bacon. Absolutely. Okay. Let me see what else we're talking about. Thank you so much, Utsab, for the super chat. As great always, Jaffe. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. But, I mean, there's nothing to get back to Horizon on. I mean, ultimately, Grave, the question becomes, let's assume for the moment that it is absolutely a troll. Fine. But after that, you've got people out there that are serious about it. And I don't know what to say on that. Yeah, by the way, CR3D, I found the design document, so it will be going out to you on Wednesday. Jaffe, I got another one for you. Horizon has too much fog to cover the bad graphics. Yeah, I've heard people say that as well. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I was never verified on Twitter. Okay, let us move on. I have a couple more things I want to talk about with you ragamuffins. So we're putting people on the wheel tomorrow to win the God of War Fallen Gods thing. I'll do that. I'll do the Jackrabbit story tomorrow because it's kind of getting late in the day. The Boba Fett footage. You guys see the Boba Fett footage today? It was really interesting. I'll show it to you real quick while we're talking about it. It's only 3 minutes long. Thank you, Blake Nesbitt. Jaffe, the God of War gift it just arrived. We just sent them out yesterday. Fantastic. Oh, I'm so glad you got it, buddy. Thank you for being a member, sir. Okay, the canceled Star Wars game. This is the Boba Fett game. It was originally called 1313. I really like the concept of it, which was that I guess you start the whole thing playing a different character, and then Boba Fett kills the character, and you become Boba Fett for the rest of the game. I thought that was really cool. And for a game that was in development in 2012, that's what we're about to see. It's pretty fucking good. No, I've never been verified on Twitter, Eternal. No. But yeah, it looks pretty fucking good. Check this out while we're talking about it. So, again, you have to remember this is almost 10 years old now. And what they were going for, what I heard was, Uncharted meets Star Wars, which I know ultimately became Fallen Jedi, the one that Stig directed. But this looks really fun. And the reason they canceled this, they said it was because, now I don't really know. I mean, it's very rare you cancel something that's amazing. And even then, so the word is when Disney bought Lucas and Lucas came in and said, we're laying everybody off, including the people who were on this project, they said, we're only going to keep about 10 people around, and those 10 people will be doing licensing, right? And so I understand how, even though a lot of people are now saying Disney, analysts are saying Disney should probably get back into development and games in general beyond just what they're doing, because it's such a big tent pole of what sort of future media companies are going to need. But regardless, that's the word they said of why they canceled it. What I don't understand about canceling this game, though, is it's like, okay, unless they were like, dude, this game is going to need another $80 million, and this was back in 2012, because ultimately it looks like it's solid. The team looks solid. You would think that if they're just going to do licensing, they could have sold this to another publisher. They could have said, hey, EA, do you want to publish this? Do you want to pick up development tab on this? Or Sony or someone. But this fucking looks great. I mean, it doesn't look innovative, but it looks like it's well on the road to being more than capable of being a really good, fun third-person shooter. And this was early, right? And so the idea that it's like Controller Sports says it looks generic. Well, again, this was 2012. And again, when you're at this stage in a video game, a lot of stuff you do, unless you've got a very specific mechanic that you're trying to suss out, you end up, getting the basics down first, right? So I don't know, man. My gut would tell me, and I don't know if this is true, of course, my gut would tell me this is something that there were, either the floorboards were rotten, or under the floorboards was rotten, like the team was falling apart or whatever, or they did try to find another publisher. I don't know. Or maybe it was just like they didn't think they could get a publisher to foot 80 million. Can you imagine if they would have gone to Sony in the PS3 era and said, hey, do you guys want to take this and foot the bill and finish development of it? And you had a Sony PS3 exclusive that was fucking Boba Fett? I think that would have been pretty fucking cool, man. That would have been pretty fucking cool. I've not watched the Book of Boba Fett yet. I have Disney Plus, but I just haven't watched it. CR says, if they made a Boba Fett Uncharted, sign me up. Yeah, me too. Why can't we have a Star Wars like Lego, but without the Lego? I agree. I was talking about that the other day. I'm with you on that. Again, Controller, you're not wrong, but Controller says I can look past it not being polished yet, but the gameplay looks cookie cutter. Right. But this was over 10 years ago. So it looks cookie cutter today, but 10 years ago? I don't know. And even though it's cookie cutter, I'd still want to play it. My guess is Disney saw potential in the story to change over into the TV series, as the fight in the most recent episode is what happens in the footage. Interesting. Okay, yeah, I haven't seen that yet. Yes, Legends, this is 1313. Book of Boba Fett is okay, but episode 5 was amazing. Okay, cool. Now you know how we felt about Harbor City being canceled. I mean, again, man, that's... If you ever want to wonder why something's been canceled, it's one of two reasons usually. It's either that there's something really wrong with the team and it's falling apart and you just don't have that information and it makes sense and you would cancel it too. Or the company just looks at it and says, our assets, our resources are better spent elsewhere. Matt B says, Jaffe, any thoughts on the new Star Wars game being made by Ubisoft? You know, I even though I was happy to hear about Ubisoft's sort of good bill of health in Singapore, and that a third party came out today and said, hey, they're actually cleaning up their toxic mess. I'm glad about that. I do tend to be very skeptical of Ubisoft because of what they've been accused of. But that aside, an open world Star Wars game sounds fucking great. And I have to assume a lot of the people working on Beyond Good and Evil 2, which we know is never going to come out. Come on. But it was kind of like an open world Star Wars game in terms of a sci-fi flying around planets and all that shit. I'm down, man. So the director, I don't know the director, so I can't really judge him. But my understanding is he's kind of done The Division. So I don't know enough about, I mean, I know people love that game. But if it's that kind of game and it's kind of like a looter shooter and it's co-op, I wouldn't be as excited. But if it is a single player, primarily single player, open world game that lets you go on a planet hopping Star Wars adventure, fuck yeah, man. I am totally fucking in on that. Yeah, well, right. Matt B says it'll probably be a third-person shooter like The Division. If so, I'm not interested. Little Schreier wrote about this in his book. It was originally not about Boba Fett, but George Lucas shoehorned it in. So development was scrapped. So what, Rage Quit Richard, did Schreier say that caused them to cancel it? Was it the story I just said, or was it something a little bit more behind the scenes? I haven't played Prey 2. I mean, there is the new Prey, but not the official sequel, right? It might be because the license fee is so high, companies automatically looking at how they're going to recoup and how they make money. I mean, yeah, that's true too. It could have been that. Any chance Corey's making a Star Wars game? I think that would be awesome. But you and I have heard the same amount of things, which is I have not heard that. So, off topic, says Thanos. Do you think the reason Sony Games has a lot of cutscenes because it's easier to make the game this way will lower the cost? No, I think that's because they genuinely want to make narrative-based, character-based games, and it's very difficult to do, if not impossible, depending on the story, through gameplay. It's actually more costly to do it through gameplay because you've got to figure out how to execute the piece of storytelling when the player is capable of deviating from the path because they have freedom. I have not seen the other, the old 1313 trailer I saw, Chris, a long time ago. But I don't know if there's a new one. Did a new one come out? If so, we can look at it tomorrow. Okay. I want to see if my Twitter's blowing up or people know I'm kidding. Okay, I'll look at those later. I'll enjoy those as I drift off to sleep. I'll enjoy the Twitter meltdown. Leo, thank you, buddy. He says, do you think Warner Brothers games will have many games in the future, or do they might be sold? I mean, they actually released a story today I was going to talk about saying that their stuff is still coming this year. Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad versus the Justice League, and I think there's one more. I don't know why Warner Brothers would sell them, because I do think it's correct. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. I think it's correct to say that, you know, I mean, Warner Brothers is a huge media company, and I think it's correct that these analysts are saying that if you are going to stay in it at that level, having video games in your wheelhouse is super important. So it would be hard for me to imagine why they would want to sell it. I mean, they're doing fine. They're, Mortal Kombat 11 was a fucking smash, and their Batman game's so great. Do you see PlayStation London making a new team from the ground up for an online game? I did see that. Yes, I did. Okay, let me get to let me do this. Would you like to know, before we move on to wheel spins? Would you like to know? And I know this is only tangentially related because it has to do with tech. So if you're only into the games, mayhaps this is where we part for the evening. But I want to know if you would like to know about the top 10 cities in the world where people masturbate the most. There's a new survey out from a company called lookfantastic.com. And they've commissioned this study, and I want to just tell you a couple of cities. They found out where Doug lives. That's right. Okay, let me just tell you a couple of this, okay? The OnlyFans worldwide hotspots, okay? This is the country that has embraced OnlyFans the most. The number 3 country is Canada. The number 2 country is the United Kingdom. The number 1 country is the United States. We are the biggest consumer of OnlyFans websites. The 10 top self-pleasure capitals of the world. Here we go. Number 10 is Spain. This is where they masturbate the most and order sex toys to masturbate the most. Number 9 is the Netherlands. Number 8 is Russia. Number 7 is France. Number 6 is Germany. Number 5, they pickle their tickles and chucko their tacos a lot in Italy. In 4, Portugal. Number 3, Ireland. Number 2, Australia. Number 1, the United Kingdom. They masturbate a lot in the United Kingdom. Now, one last thing I want to tell you. The top 3 Pornhub hotspots. New York, then Paris, then London. Final thing I want to tell you. The 15 top selling sex toys across the globe. I'll just tell you the top 7. I don't know what these are. I swear I really don't. I wouldn't be ashamed to know, but I don't know what these are. Something called Smile Makers the Firefighter. I'm going to click on that and see what it is. That sounds positively filthy. Why is that called the Firefighter? Oh my. I could probably show you that. It's phallic-esque. I don't want to have to cut. Here, I'll put the link in the chat. If you want to see what I'm looking at, here you go. This is called the the Firefighter. That's the number 7 sex toy on the planet right now, or at least for last year. Number 6 is the So Divine Afternoon Delight Bullet Vibrator. Number 5 is the Tennis Pro. I gotta click that. What the fuck is the Tennis Pro? I don't know why they call it that. I don't understand. Number 4 is the So Divine Irreplaceable Clitoral Suction Stimulator. I'm clicking on that. Oh, okay. That looks almost like a Beats by Dre device. Number 3 is called the Romantic, which these are all just dildos. That's the number 1 sex toy, or fucking dildos. Number 2 is the Billionaire. Number 1 is called the Surfer. Let's check it out. I don't know why that's called the Surfer. Anyway, there you go. All right, fellas, we are now going to initiate some members by letting them spin the wheel. Is that right, Jim Ryan? Yes, my son is still making music. Jaffe, did the numbers in San Diego spike when Ratchet Rift Apart came out? Then I don't understand what that means. Did the numbers in San Diego... Oh, because of Rivet? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, number 1 is the DualSense, says Danny Sullivan. That's right. Oh, Cosmic Bandito, that's pretty good. Maybe it makes him squirt. That's why it's called the Firefighter. Oh, okay. KR, excellent. Thank you, buddy. I will get that shirt out to you then with your stuff that you sent me tonight or tomorrow at the latest. Thank you for confirming. I'm sorry I needed that confirmation, but it's the internet, man. Thank you. Okay, so we are going to return tomorrow to Jackrabbit's Vietnam horror story that will get 2 more people on the wheel to win this very comic trade paperback that you're looking at right here, right now. In the meantime, though, let me get members who signed up today Rage Quit Richard says, can I spin? I didn't get to last week. Absolutely. If you joined last week and I missed you, absolutely. Let me see who's on the list for today. But if you're out for the night, thank you for hanging out with us. We're still going to talk a little bit more, but the official show is now is now over. But we're still hanging out. The firefighter squirt reference, says Henry, embarrasses me as a human being. I want to die. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Okay. I don't know how many members we had today. Let's see. Mo, we're gonna spin with Mo. He has 3 spins. We are gonna spin with and that's it. So it was Mo and that person who said I was a member last week. What's his name? It just went up the thing. Rage Quit Richard. So we will do that. Okay. Hang on. Jaffe, huge fan. You never read my comments. I just did, baby. Bing. That's how you pay the rent. It was a firefighter, says KR, because the top looked like a flame. Yeah, but then why would you fight fire with fire? Ooh. Clever. Clever. Okay. Like a candle wick or a candle. There you go. It says, allow the firefighter by Smile Makers to extinguish your flames of desire. If your emergency involves being in desperate need of pleasure, can you imagine calling 911 for that? The ingenious flame-shaped head is guaranteed to make you wail like a siren. Created with an even rounder tip and a weightier feel, this vibrator is able to offer a more earth-shattering orgasm than ever before, applying pressure to all the right places. It comes free if you order or pre-order a copy of Rob the Mod's new hit game, Monarch. Only $19.95 wherever digital games are sold. Okay. LORPG. All right, here we go. Mo, are you still here? Because if Mo's not here, I can't do it for him. But I will do it first then for Rage. Where are we at? Let me find him again. I'm sorry, buddy. Rage, hit me up so I got your name right. We'll spin for you right now. Okay, well, Mo's here. We'll spin for him first. By the way, Doge, I'm waiting for you to hit me back and let me know when you guys want to have a phone call or a Zoom or whatever. Okay, Mo is here. Here's how it works. Mo's a God of War member. What that means... Excuse me, fellas. What that means is he can spin the wheel once. If he doesn't like his prize, he can go again. If he doesn't like his prize, he can go again. And then one more time. We also got Lord Garth jumping up to the Gods of War. You know what? Spazbo gave me that idea. If you want to jump up a tier, I'll let you spin the wheel. How about that? I don't know if we're going to keep the wheel going beyond another month because it might get too crazy for me to fulfill all the orders. But that said, though, Lord Garth, if you want to spin, you can, because I'm going to do that. What do you mean, who is Haley Steinfeld? She's Kate Bishop, and she's also in Dickinson. Okay, here we go. This is for you, Mo. Let me bring... Oh, shit, you can see the goddamn firefighter, or whatever this is called. Yeah, the firefighter. Oh, well, wah, wah, wah. Okay, let's bring up the wheel. Yeah, John, the wheel's effective, but you got to be careful with it because I don't want people subscribing just to get on the wheel. I want people to subscribe and go, I enjoy what this is. I mean, it's their money. They can do what they want, but I would hate people to only be subscribing for that reason, but it's their life. Okay. Here we go. What's the screen? That's the screen. Here we go. This is for you, Mo. Let's go. Oh, wrong button. I'm not very smart. Okay, Mo, you currently have a Gabbin Games t-shirt. Would you like to risk it and spin the wheel again? You can risk it 2 more times. Wait. What did Rob say? Hang on, I got this wheels covering the screen. Hang on. Hold up, I was going to get the link for the firefighter. Well, yeah. If you jump down a tier, no, it doesn't count. Okay, Mo says spin. Spin again, baby. All right. Oh, I keep hitting the wrong button. It's over here. All right, this will let you put anything on the screen for the entirety of the next episode as long as it doesn't break terms of service. So what would you like to do? My guess is if you don't want the t-shirt, you probably don't want this either. So you can spin one more time. What will he do, folks? What will he do? One more spin, baby. Here you go. You're living, your body's writing checks, or you're writing checks your body can't cash. Here we go. Sorry, pal. Shit song Mad Libs. Shit song Mad Libs. That's what you go home with. That's what you go home with, Mo. Sorry, pal, but thank you so much for jumping up to the God Awards here. I appreciate it, buddy. Now while I'm spinning the wheel for the guy whose name I can never, Rage somebody. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting your name. Think about the 4 words you want me to make a song out of. In the meantime, was it Rage Robert or something? It's alliterative. You think I could remember it. Won't that be a kick in the balls if Rage gets what Mo wanted? That would be so shitty. That would be so fucking shitty. And then Lord Garth, we're going to let you spin too, but I want to get Rage. Rage Quit Richard. There you go. All right, Rage Quit Richard, are you ready? Here we go. This is for you. You are a Diet Soda Soldier. You get 1 spin. Here we go. Spin again. Let's do it. You get a Gabbin' and Games mug, my friend. So if you want to hit me up in the Discord, let me know who you are on here. Let me know that you're you. And I will get all the details and I will get that out to you maybe even tomorrow, if not Friday, or if not Saturday. Okay? Thank you for that. Okay. Finally, the last spin of the night is going to be... where did it go? He jumped up. Lord Garth. So, Lord Garth, you were at the Cult Calypso. So, I guess the way we'll do it is I'm going to give you 2 spins. So, you can spin once and then spin again. Lord Garth, are you still here? And Rage Quit, Richard, let me know on the Discord direct message. Or let me know now, if you can let me know now, who you are on Discord. Because, like last night, I got a Discord message from someone, and it was a different name, and they had to come in here and validate it the next day. So if you're going to hit me up on Discord and say, oh, this is Fred Schnuckelstein of the Norway Schnuckelsteins, let me know now, so when I see it, it's not somebody hitting me up and trying to take your prize. All right, Lord Garth, you're going to get 2 spins. Here we go. Yeah, it's the racist mug. Okay, so you can spin again. I'll shill your shit. So basically, for a week, I will add you to the ad rotation that God of War members get. So anything you want to communicate or message, I am more than happy to, as long as it doesn't break terms of service, I'm more than happy to make that part of the show. But you have to let me know, or we can spin again. Yeah, Adversary 1 says, good old Fred Schnuckelstein. I'm happy to let you spin again, though. You got 1 more spin in you, baby. What do you want to do? That's not a bad idea, Legends. We're waiting. We're waiting for Lord Garth to make a decision. What will he pick? What do you mean you messaged me, Mo? Why did you message me before? Did you already win something before? I'm sure you did. I know you did. I just got to look. I think you've messaged me before about the deep dive show, correct? Okay, so wait, Lord Garth, what are you saying? Do you want the I'll shill your shit, or do you want to spin again? Okay, cool. All right, great. So that is what you were taking. So hit me up. Hit me up. Yep, the deep. Yes, got you, Mo. All right, so let me just clarify all of this. I have CR. I know how to get this to you. There's a mug that I now owe. Who just won the mug? It was Rage Richard. You're gonna hit me up. Rage Quit Richard. You're gonna hit me up about the mug. I'm still waiting on the 4 words from Mo. Who won that? Was that Mo? Who won the? Yeah, I should have written that down. And then I'm gonna get. I'll shill the shit. I'll get it from Lord Garth when he sends it. Okay. Thank you, RPG. I appreciate it, buddy. But wait, did I get those 4 words from Mo? There's a little delay, so I'll stop talking and wait. Is it possible to get someone from Epic or Activision on the show? Maybe. What specifically would you want them to talk about? Like what aspect of that company? Thomas Isaacs, are you saying you have a question, or are you asking me? I'm definitely going to get Horizon Forbidden West when it comes out. Is Mo saying the words are, here you go again? I've had Cliff on the show, Raph Unreal. You can see his interview down below. Under the Geeks and Gabbin, or Geek Interviews with Geeks or something. Oh, the harassment stuff. Okay. Yeah, maybe. Let me think about it. I am scheduling a bunch of that interviews. I'm looking for it, Mo. Can you not type it again? It's a busy chat. I honestly don't even see it. Yep, the deep dive. Here you go again. Oh, Diego, I'm sorry. He says, I'm really sad. My mom has COVID. I feel it was my fault. Thanks for the stream. It was fun. Take care, y'all. See you, Diego. Hope your mama feels better. Mo, anything? Toothless Gaming, I'm going to get that set up. People have been asking me to sign some stuff. I'll set up the P.O. box and I'll get it worked out. But it's not ready to go yet. But thoughts on planned marriages? Are they cruel or romantic? I think they're old-fashioned and antiquated and not necessary. But I wouldn't stand for it. But okay, Mo, are you still there? I can't scroll up. I cannot find your words, buddy. We are going to take bets about Bastigi about opening month sales, so we'll do it then. Mo, I need your words. Didn't you win a song? Didn't you win a? Okay, just it might be censored, so someone just type it with the asterisks. Then you're getting advertised now. A bunch of adult toys. Adam, probably yes, but I gotta get all the. I gotta plan to make sure it's doable. In the so I actually can commit, because I have ADD and I overcommit to things and then it's a nightmare. So, but I definitely would like to do it if I can. All right, come on, Mo, come through. Firefighter, and then Phil. Is there any other word? There's only 3 words. Firefighter and Phil. Why do you worry about who you're going to marry, John Flattery? Why worry about it at all? Okay. Firefighter Phil Spencer clit. Alloy is fat. Rage quit Richard. Okay. I can do that. Okay. Rage quit Richard went walking one night. Chewed his tobacco and spit. And he hit a young man who had no plan. It was good old Phil Spencer, the man with the clit. Good old Phil Spencer said, what do I do? How do I get rid of that? And Rage Quit Richard said, here's what you do. You got to go on the internet and say, Aloy's fat. Well, Phil Spencer didn't like the sound of that because he knew the internet would kill him. So he got a firefighter sex toy and he put it up his butthole. Thank you. All right, fellas, that's been Gabbing Games for January 27th, 2000 and whatever this fucking thing is, 22. Thank you, RPG. Rob the Mod, RPG. I think Rathy was here tonight. Thank you. New members, thank you. Super Chats, thank you. All of you, thank you for hanging out with me and talking. Thank you, Mo. Mo says, beautiful song. Optimism says, I think they're getting worse. Well, sure. But listen to me. All you guys, thank you guys very, very much for hanging out with me. I'll try to put timestamps on this tonight. If not, I'll do it in the morning. I may be streaming. Gas Station Simulator has an update tonight where they've added the car wash. So if I have time and the energy, I will stream that tonight. But I will absolutely be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Everyone is welcome except Dustin because he's going straight to hell. Yes, I hope to see you guys then. Or don't forget, this weekend, Gabbin' Games game night, 5 o'clock Pacific time, we're starting. I will have a list of games that we're going to be playing. Members get first choice, first seating, but everybody's welcome to play. That is the Saturday night members item that will be coming up in a couple of days. Be well. Be safe. Diego, I hope your mom is going to pull through great. I'm sure she will. And in the meantime, I'll see you guys later. Thank you all, mods. Bye, everybody. Christian says, why are all your games so dark, twisted, and evil? Is that something suppressed inside of you? No, the fascinating part about that, to me, you as well, Mo, the fascinating part about that to me is if you listen to interviews with like metal people, like who do dark metal and stuff, or horror movies and stuff, thank you very, very much, Jarvie. I appreciate that, buddy. Thanks, sir. Honestly, a lot of those they're very well adjusted. Not all of them, of course. Like Marilyn Manson's a fucking nightmare. But, a lot of them are well adjusted people. And I think it's because, you're able to get all of that up and out in your creative work. And I think it's the people who seem, quote, normal that are, you got to be careful with. All right, fellas, that really is it. I got to go eat. Maybe I'll see you guys in the stream tonight. Otherwise, see you later. Bye, everyone.